presto. Let's get it. Look, I got family that ain't blood. The struggle is all relation. A different life for all of us. Give me the motivation to get.
Yeah, and I'm also an actor, as you know.
I know, but Dad was telling me about some of that. What's your favorite role you've ever done?
My favorite? Ooh, that's a good one. Well, first of all, I've done a lot of acting work. So if you Google me right now, my full name, Joseph Anthony Jerez,
look it up.
It'll pull up a lot of different things. But you have to Google my full name.
Right. Have you... sorry if this is a personal question.
You
but
can.
I know Matt has told me about...
It's okay.
Yeah. So, have you been in any, like, zombie movies and stuff, or as, like, action and stuff?
That's funny. Most of my roles have not been for disabled people.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Because I always wanted to be known as a good actor, not just a disabled actor, a good actor who just happens to be disabled. Mm-hmm. I mean, the last commercial I shot was a Medicaid commercial. I'll get back to your question in a second.
Oh, no, you're good.
It was a Medicaid commercial. They flew me from Florida, Tampa to Atlanta. Wow. A lot of studios in Atlanta. Right. I filmed for one day. Actually, it was a 2-day shoot for Medicaid of Illinois. They paid for the airfare. They paid for the hotel. They paid me like $2,000.
Oh, my God. Wow.
Dude,
yeah.
It's nice. Yeah.
Well, it was good. It was a good production team. The thing is, they hired a bunch of actors that fit what they were looking for on camera, but they were not as experienced as me, because I've been a member of the Screen Actors Guild for like 11 years. So when they were messing up, and because I had spoken to everybody, they were like, "Hey, Joe, do you want to just jump in here?" No problem. I was able to shoot 2 days worth of work in one day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, saved them a ton of money on production costs.
They like that.
Yeah.
They like that. More professional.
And they still paid me the same. They said, you can go home tonight if you want, or you can stay. I said, I'll stay in case you need to do reshoots or something like that.
Might as well.
And that was good. But my favorite movie was a movie called Cold in July. With Don Johnson, Sam Shepard, and Michael C. Hall. I have an IMDb. So, were you able to find me?
Yeah, I was going to say, I was looking up before. I sent them I always send her a little rundown before.
Sure,
so I send like the social media, send everything, give them like a little background of what
you
we
can
know.
share my Instagram if you want. My Facebook is more for friends.
Yeah, if you want to shout it out too, we'll shout them out at the end. Shout them out in the clips. That's what we usually do.
Yeah, no worries.
Clip up the pod, get promotional and stuff. Is it this one?
Yeah, once we get
July 2014.
Yeah, that was with Don Johnson, Sam Shepard, and Michael C. Hall.
This sounds
who's
good,
Dexter.
Oh yeah, I remember it. Dexter.
Oh yeah, that's the guy from Dexter. I'm not good with names.
Michael C. Hall.
Yeah, he's so good.
That's crazy.
That's so good.
Yeah, we actually shot that in Kingston, New York.
Oh wow.
Really?
Yeah, there's like an old castle from like a couple of 100 years ago that's still standing that looks like a medieval castle. I played one of the henchmen. Like in those movies, you got to get past the big guy to storm the castle.
Yeah.
I got my throat cut by Don Johnson in the movie.
No shit.
Oh yeah, it was pretty cool. The prosthetics and everything.
I was gonna say, what do they do for that? They put the fake skin.
They do the blood packs, and they ran it through my shirt. We had to. Yeah, luckily I practiced it so we could only do it in one take, even though they had like 5 other outfits for me.
Waste materials if you.
Because if you fuck up the take, then they got to reshoot it, but they got to change all your clothes now because now you got all that blood pack
think
on
of all
you.
that. Just the blood scenes.
Yeah, and what's more important about that movie is I was right on the border of becoming union. With SAG, you have to do 3 union roles.
An actors union?
Yeah, to get in the Screen Actors Guild.
Awesome.
Move that a little closer.
Sure, sorry.
You're good.
And that movie, I started off as what you would call an extra, but we call it background actors. It's the same thing, extra, background actor. But when they said, look, we want you, they changed everything at the last minute. They said, okay, well, when you get your throat cut, we want you to fall on the ground. I was like, that gravel right there? I said, we'll put a mat there. I said, okay, but that's stunt work, right? And the director, Jim Mickle, great guy. He also did Happen Leonard. He does a lot of other stuff. I said, look, I'll do it either way, but if you have me falling on camera, it's stunt work. So they said, okay, well, we want to get it done Boom, they upgraded me to a principal actor. I wound up getting 2 paychecks. I made like $3,000 for like 2 days work.
Just a fall.
Yeah,
But not just a fall. That's a lot.
That's just not knowing your stuff, though. It's not knowing what.
Well, because the funny thing was, for this role, I had to join Screen Actors Guild because I already had 3 waivers to do union work. Okay. This one, I was like a must join. Like if I do this, I must join. So when I went to the SAG office in Manhattan, I explained what was going on, and luckily the guy who was available was one of the top guys, knew the production, knew what was going on, and I told him what they wanted me to do, and says, okay, well, if they want you moving on camera, it's stunt work, which is also principal work. So I wound up getting 2 paychecks for that.
They probably get a lot of early actors with that. I mean,
yeah, if you don't know your stuff, like they will take advantage of you.
Right? It's like a contract.
I was non-union for the first maybe 4 or 5 months. But the good thing about it is I had friends in the business, and they educated me, and which is good because in the acting business.
You need a mentor.
Yeah, you have to, because otherwise they're going to take advantage of you. And I've known guys that have gotten like abused on set, but I'm talking 10 years ago. Nowadays they really can't do it. Yeah,
it was
because
normal back then.
It was. But the best part about that movie, Cold in July, is they called me up and said, hey, we're presenting this at the Sundance Film Festival. Do you want to come and promote the movie? So I went to Sundance Film Festival to promote the movie. I got into some of the really good parties and got interviewed out there. That was a really great experience.
Oh, yeah.
And the best part about it is, even though I was like a henchman, I'm like a very personable person, so I talk to everybody. So we filmed that movie, and then, which was in the summer, and then we went to Sundance like 4 or 5 months later to promote it. But I went separately with 2 casting directors. Everybody else came from Hollywood. So it's a good story. This is a good story. So when I got there with the 2 casting directors, I'm like, okay, where's my ticket for the movie? Says, oh, something happened. We weren't able to get it. I was like, you fuckers. I was like, you made me come all the way to fucking Utah?
Oh my God.
I said, that's no problem, because, from Haverstraw, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, for sure.
So what I did was, I found out where the movie was going to show, because Sundance Film Festival isn't in Salt Lake City. It's in Park City, Utah, which is about 20 minutes outside of Salt Lake City, but it's a smaller town. So what I did was I got in line for the movie, and I got there 2 hours early. So I was the only one online. The only people that were there were like vendors, security guards, and volunteers,
set up and everything.
Yeah, and they're like, "What are you doing here?" I said, "Look, I'm in the movie. I play one of the henchmen. I was told to come here to promote the movie."
That's awesome.
But the asshole casting directors, they promised they had tickets, and they reneged on it. And I was like, "Look, the director knows me and the actors know me. So if I get." If I can speak to them, hopefully I can get an extra ticket from one of them. That's the only reason I'm standing here. And it was funny because being an actor, whether you're like a principal actor or just a background actor, people really like that. So when I told my story, I started telling it to the food vendors and the volunteers and the security guards, and everybody was really nice. And then the line started building up. And then at one point I'm like, okay, hopefully we'll see some. And then all of a sudden I see 2 security guards and like 2 vendors go, come over here. And I'm like, oh shit. So I went over there, and they said to me, Joe, look, we found out that the director and the other actors are all coming in on the red carpet. They're going to come right there. So I want you to stand right there. We'll escort you right there. And that's the best opportunity you're going to have. They're going to have to walk right past you to come in.
The henchman himself.
Yeah. So they all rallied together. And when I got it to the red carpet, and here comes Jim Mickle, the director, with Michael C. Hall and Don Johnson and a few other actors. And I said, hey, Jim, what's up? The director. And everybody, like Don Johnson, Michael C. Hall, the director, everybody was like, "Oh, Joe, you made it!" And the director hugged me. "Oh, God, thanks for coming to support. It's great to see you."
That's awesome.
What amazed me, now I filmed this movie 4 months ago. These guys remembered me by name. Everybody was happy to see me. And I said to the director, I said, "Look, I was hoping you had an extra ticket to the event. Look, I came with the casting directors. They didn't have any tickets." And the director said, "Joe, I don't have an extra ticket." And then the other actors were like, "Joe, you're one of us. Just walk in with us." I was like, "You don't got to tell me twice." So went there, went to an after party, met.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I had a great time. I did some interviews out there. I actually went to a private party hosted by Chase Sapphire where I was sitting next to this guy. And I got to the party early because I hate lines. So I'm sitting at the bar with this guy. All of a sudden, the red ropes come out and things like that. And people are building up. And I'm like, people are taking pictures. And I'm like, I know these people don't know me. And I looked to the guy. I said, "Is this all for you?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm promoting a movie." I was like, "Oh, all right." It was the young guy from Breaking Bad.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Jesse, look at that.
Yeah. He was a nice
awesome.
guy. He was promoting a movie.
I heard he's a really good guy.
Yeah,
Wow.
he was nice to me. He was real low-key, down to earth. That's the funny thing is I've done a lot of work with a lot of major stars like Jim Caviezel. I've worked with Ben Stiller. For the most part, they're really nice people. There's like a couple of people are jerks. Yeah.
Just shout out Ben Stiller. He's a good
Oh
one.
yeah, Ben Stiller is very.
awesome.
It was funny. Well, I was in a movie. I was a background actor for that one. He did a movie with Amanda Seyfried, the guy who played. What's his name? The tall guy in the newer Star Wars movies.
Yeah, David. Right, Kylo Ren. You're talking.
Kylo Ren, yeah.
I think he's.
He was in that with somebody else.
Oh, get up.
Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren.
What's his name?
David something, right?
No.
Well,
I forget. I don't know. I can't think of it.
Yeah, so I was. See, there's a thing called continuity, where some directors are very by the book. They want it to look. Adam Driver. Yeah, I really didn't talk to him because he kind of scared me. I'll be honest. He kind of scared. He's not a bad guy, but his approach is kind of scary.
This is demeanor.
So it was funny. The conversation I had with Ben Stiller. Well, first of all, when you're a background actor, they have a rule: don't bother the talent unless they talk to you first. But I'm a grown man; they're grown men. I'm going to say hello. You look at me; I'm going to say hello.
Yeah.
And we were talking. This was a restaurant scene where, While We Were Young. That's the name of the movie. While We Were Young. And it was a restaurant scene. Now, normally in a movie or a TV show, when you see people eating, they're not eating. They're just playing with their food because you have to keep doing reshoots and retakes. That food, they can't eat it because it's like a plate of food that's been sitting out for 12 hours. You're not going to eat it.
Is it fake too? I see some of the fake food for commercials in the movie scenes. Is it fake food?
Well, in commercials, they change things like ice cream is not ice cream, it's mashed potatoes.
Right.
Because if you use ice cream, you're going to be using 10 gallons of ice cream a day just to get that one perfect shot. You want mashed potatoes because it'll hold its consistency all day.
Right.
And they use little tricks like that. But in movies, food really isn't fake, but you're not supposed to eat it because you get food poisoning. But with some sets,
just sit there all day. Fucking 8 hours.
With some sets, some directors are very meticulous. And this particular one, we were filming in Manhattan at a Chinese restaurant. And the director made a big announcement, said, "Look, all you actors in the background, the food is real, it's edible. I want you to eat it, okay?
Please.
I want you to eat it because this has to look realistic." I was like, "Look at the size of me. You're telling me you want me to eat the food? I'll eat the food." So I started eating. They do a take. They do a second take. I'm out of food. He's like, "Okay." And pile a bunch of more Chinese food. on my plate. I just kept eating it. By the fifth take and the second plate of food, the AD, assistant director, comes over to me and says, "Joe, we're not going to keep feeding you." I said, the director said, "Make it look realistic. I'm just doing my job." So eat slower.
That's so
Yeah, so it was funny. So like I talked to Ben Stiller and like real brief, was like, "How's it going?" I was like, he got kind of mad at me because I was eating all the food, and he's like, "Well, for continuity purposes, are you really supposed to eat it all?" "Oh, they just kept giving me more food, but I had to slow down." He said, "Oh, okay," just like a normal conversation, you know?
It's so funny. Just
That was interesting.
And I think it's cool seeing that, like, actors, you play a role and you really have that image of a person you are. And like audience members, like I see, villains and I think they're bad people in real life. And then you see them, they're great people.
Yeah.
Vice versa. You see good actors all the time and then they're just absolute assholes in real life. And they're like, wait a minute, that guy's...
I have had 2 experiences with people that were really, really... They were not nice people.
Mm-hmm. But their character was like... Their actor was a nice person, technically.
And let me see. Can I mention them by name or?
Yeah, we don't.
I don't
care.
know any of
I was
them.
just say we don't care. It's really, we've had people give us everything, and we say like, yeah, we got whatever the views we get, whoever sees it.
Oh, okay. Well, honestly, this wasn't on a movie set. Coincidentally I was in Coney Island. In line at Nathan's to get a hot dog.
Good spot.
Oh,
That's
oh
the
yeah. If you ever, by the way, side note, if you ever have a chance to go to the Mermaid Parade, you gotta go. Mermaid Parade, Coney Island. It's a big production. Fancy costumes. It's so much fun. Everybody's having a good time. It's right on the boardwalk. You got the Ferris wheel and everything there.
When is that? In the winter?
Mermaid Parade is in the middle of summer.
Summer, yeah, right next.
Just look up.
Wearing bikinis in the winter.
In the winter.
Oh yeah, you'll see a lot of bikinis. Mermaid Parade. When you get a chance later, Mermaid Parade, Coney Island. I used to go every year. Great time.
Hell yeah,
Definitely.
But I was online for the Nathans, and I'm standing next. I'm just waiting for my hot dog. It's like 2 PM. There's this guy next to me, and he's about as tall as me, a big guy. And I'm like, and I'm looking. I'm like, how you see somebody and you're like, that guy looks like so and so, and I'm like, excuse me, are you who I think you are? Real low, because there's people around, and he didn't even look at me, but he's got a 10-year-old daughter there, and she's like, Dad, he's talking to you, and he wouldn't even look at me. It was Chris Maloney from Law & Order SVU.
Oh, wow.
Stabler. And I can understand that they can be a little apprehensive in public, but the guy was almost as big as me, and it's 2 PM.
Yeah.
But, he was, you could at least acknowledge and say, okay, yeah, I am, but, just leave me alone.
Hey, what's up? How you doing?
A little fist bump and...
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
Yeah. So he was not a nice person.
And that's the thing; it's tough to tell,
But for the most part, actors are really good people. And I'll tell you a story that I was saving it. I didn't even put it on social media, but when it happened.
I was gonna say first time I'm pointing the camera.
Oh yeah.
The camera's on.
Yeah, he was not nice. You can acknowledge me. If you could, even if you said, "Look, man, I am that guy. Just I'm with my daughter or whatever." But I could understand that. But just to ignore you,
That's what I'm saying. You're showing appreciation.
I'm not your ex-girlfriend.
You're not paparazzi
either. But okay, I was shooting a TV show with Jim Caviezel from Person of Interest, who was also Passion of the Christ. He played Jesus Christ. But Person of Interest was a police show. It's not on anymore. So in this scene, which was a bar scene in Manhattan, most of my work was in Manhattan at the time.
Sick.
There was a scene where we faced off, and he beats me up. In the next scene, he beats me up off camera. It's off camera. And the thing is, it's an up-close scene. It's just me and him. And he's a big guy, too. We were eye to eye. But the thing is, there's 20 to 30 background actors and production team, but they're 20 to 30 feet back in the bar. It's me and Jim Caviezel, and then the director and the camera, right there. and then he just kept flubbing his lines. He just kept, making mistakes. Flubbing is what they call,
I was going to say, I guess that's a term, right? Flubbing.
Yeah, he was flubbing his lines. And it got to the point where he said, turned to the director, he goes, "Hey man, you gotta get me some cue cards." And the director was like, "Jim, we don't have any cue cards." He goes, "No, I'm getting upset. I'm getting nervous." He goes, "You know about my disability, so I need something. I'm getting nervous." Turns out Jim Caviezel is dyslexic.
Oh shit!
Yeah, and
like so remembering lines and stuff like that are a little more difficult.
But the thing is, with a disability, because I was born disabled, I have 2 prosthetic legs. With a disability, whether it's verbal, mental, physical, emotional, the more angry or nervous or upset you get, the harder it is to focus. That's why he couldn't see the words correctly. And then at one point, and then while he and the director are debating, and I'm right there, one of the crew from 20 feet away, because nobody knows this, one of the crew from 20 feet away yells out, "Hey, are we doing this or what?" And and Jim Caviezel leans right over my shoulder and he says, "No, we're not fucking doing this now. We're gonna fucking do it when I fucking tell you." And everybody, and everybody froze because he's the star of the show, and everybody thinks he's having a meltdown.
Yeah.
But the thing is, nobody there is disabled. And I said to myself, nobody probably knows that this guy's dyslexic.
It's overwhelming.
Yeah, it's too much. And and everything's on him because he's the star of the show. So I did something that nobody is supposed to do, because I'm standing right there and I could see it in his eyes. I put my hand on his shoulder and I said, "Hey, relax. You're doing a good job. Okay? Don't worry about what these people have to say. Take your time. We'll get it. Don't worry about it."
Grounding him back to comfortable.
And we did the scene again. We nailed it. And I said, "Okay, let me walk away before I get punched in the face or fired." He grabs me from behind. He shakes my hand and he says, "Thanks." He goes, "Thanks. I needed that. I really did." I said, definitely. "No problem. I understand. Better than most people."
I really like what you said. I could be saying it wrong. You said when you're angry, it kind of almost blinds your ability to focus.
Well,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like, especially with the disability, it's probably more enhanced if you have dyslexia or autism or something like that. I can only imagine.
Yeah, stuttering and things like that. Like, there are some people who were born stutterers, but after training and things like that, they don't stutter. But if they get angry or upset, they'll skip. Their words will skip. It's like when, see, I have 2 prosthetic legs, but if I'm angry or upset, it distracts me from focusing on taking every step. So I might trip or I might fall. That's the same thing with people who have emotional disabilities. Normally they're okay, but if they're in a situation where like things are just jumbled up, they'll freak out for no reason. Like I've seen people like that they're on top of their game, and then one moment something happens and they're hysterical crying. So it is what it is. It's tough. Everybody deals with something,
Yeah, definitely.
And you never know. I think we talk about that all the time. Like, you never know what people go through. Because physical, that's the thing. With physical, you can see it, but mental, you can't. So it's tough to really tell. But that the whole side of the inner control, if you can control your anger, it's going to help. I never thought about it on a physical aspect. I've always thought about it because anger is an emotion. Yeah. So it seems like it's connected to mental, but it's like kind of when you're angry and you're talking and you bite your tongue when you're eating. You're not focusing on chewing. You're just all over the place.
Absolutely.
So now the walking is crazy to think of it like that.
Yeah, and the thing about disabled people, I can't speak for all disabled people. I speak for me. The thing about being disabled, especially when I grew up in the 70s and the 80s, is like you didn't want to stand out. You didn't want pity. You tried to fit in as best you could, so you tried to hide your disability as best you can. Unless you're in a wheelchair, you can't hide anything. Right. But but if you have a physical disability or a mental disability or emotional disability, you do your best to hide it because you don't want to be treated different. Because being treated different and being pitied, that's like the worst feeling in the world. Like I always tell people, I'd rather
you're an outcast. Almost.
Yeah,
like it's like you're glorifying the problem almost.
Yeah, like one time I was walking with my friend at the Renaissance Festival right here in Sterling Forest. Oh, yeah. Love that place.
So good.
Yeah, I was walking with a friend of mine who just happened to be an EMT, and he knew about my disability. And we were walking, and the ground is unlevel, so I tripped a little bit. And he goes, "Oh, whoa!" I was like, "Dude, I'm okay. I just tripped on a rock. It's all right." And so we're walking. I trip again a little bit, and he's like, "Oh, you're right. You're right." And I said, "Eric, look, dude." Don't be nervous for me, because you reaching out to grab me when I'm trying to, control myself, you make me too nervous. You're going to make me fall. And if I fall, don't reach out to grab me. I'm 270 pounds, man. Let me fall. I fall all the time. I'm a grown up. I'll get back up,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Like I always say with disabled people, like I see people that are more disabled than me. And if I see somebody struggling, I'll ask you once, "Hey, man, you need some help?" If you say no, if they say no, I got it. I don't try to force myself on them because they've already made their decision. And I think that's one of the reasons I think disabled people want to be treated. They want to be treated fairly. If they need help, they'll ask for help.
I think that's the biggest thing, because most people, for me, it's it's easy for me to go get my mail. But for some older people or a disabled person, that may be their entire day.
Yeah.
And they're like highlight of their day and their only activity. So me coming up to them saying, "Oh, hey, let me help you with that." And they're like, no, I don't need help. Let me do this.
Defeating.
Like,
Yeah.
exactly. Defeating is like the best word, I think.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I saw it with my grandfather when he was dying from cancer. And even on his deathbed, he was just like, couldn't even open the packet to the,
He's like,
to
"Just
the
let me
pudding."
do it.
And I was like, "Grandpa, I'll do it." He's like, just gave me the dirtiest look. I was like, "All right." I was like, "I'll leave it alone."
Well, because one of the things that a lot of people take for granted is their independence. Because there's a lot of people, like you said, Matt. There's a lot of people that they would kill to just be able to get up on their own and leave their house and go to the store or go to the movies on their own without calling their home health aide or their therapy aide or a nurse or things like that. I mean, it's a struggle, man. It's a struggle.
I say most of the problems people have are first world problems. You hear a lot of the problems people complain about. It's too hot in my apartment. It's too cold.
Yeah.
It's like too cold in your central AC apartment. But a lot of other things to worry about.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like I told you, I've been an international traveler for over 25 years.
God bless. That's amazing.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of stuff. I've seen a lot, like a lot of people don't realize that if you can afford to eat 3 meals a day, whether it's eating out or at home, you are richer than over 90% of the world.
Yes.
It's tough.
It's actually eye-opening. I think it was like if you make over $30,000 a year U.S., you're in the top 1% of earners in the world or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like,
And the problem is with everyone in the U.S., we only think about the U.S.
yeah. So we're like,
Yeah.
it's
You're not
nothing.
thinking, no one's thinking
Exactly.
and when you bring up those stats, they're like, but there's a lot of people. I'm like, yeah, but that's the point. There's a lot of people that are not.
And then the
having
spread from
even-
that to the U.S. number is like, wow,
Yeah.
how is that a thing?
Absolutely.
It puts a lot in perspective.
And I try to tell people, like, it's such a big world out there, and you do get misinformation from the news media, social media,
Anywhere you go.
and it's like I grew up in the 80s. I was a teenager, and I was taught that Russia was the enemy and they want to destroy our way of life and things like that. Then I go to Moscow. They do not care about our way of life at all.
They have the best stem cell research in the world. They're like, wait, they actually can help me the most out of any
Absolutely.
country.
Yeah.
It's like the opposite growing up. It's pretty wild.
Exactly. Oh, shoot. I was on my deathbed when I first went to Swiss Medica. Blood pressure was through the roof. I had type 2 diabetes. My kidneys were failing.
Fuck, God bless.
Oh, yeah, man.
Shout out Swiss Medica.
Yeah.
God's work right there.
StartStemcells.com. You look them up.
StartStemcells.com. Check it out. Pull it up.
So much.
Or you can go on my webpage, or you can go on my
shout it out.
you can go on my Instagram, Joseph Anthony Jerez, all one word.
Check it out.
And you'll see I shot a bunch of commercials for them in Belgrade, Serbia, where one of their clinics is.
I saw your most recent one. I think you posted on your story or something like that.
Yeah, I posted my story about sightseeing in Belgrade, Serbia, like places to see.
The rooms to stay you showed, I think I was watching the other one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's really nice.
The rooms are crazy. I think you said it before. It was like hotel rooms.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
And they just built and that wasn't the hospital. They just finished building the hospital that has, and everything's on site with they have research facilities, they have research scientists,
They're
specialists.
so ahead. It's so ahead. Even their jail system compared to the U.S., which is a country that's really far ahead. It's like it looks like a school. It doesn't. There's no bars. It's not. They're teaching people to get back to a new way of life. They're not incarcerating people. It's the whole country.
Well, they try to reintegrate you back into society.
Right.
Yeah. Whereas
not lock you away.
In American jails, it's more punitive. Do your time. We'll offer you minimal education, and then you go out, and then that's it.
You have to get caught up with it. That's what it almost feels like. You have to get caught up with time.
The only thing that I don't know if this is right or wrong, but the way I see it from seeing how they do it in the Swiss, you're saying, versus us, is the only thing there is the inmates have taken upon themselves to try to find whatever religion they're.
Oh, is that what okay?
That's how the only thing I've found from researching and over the years learning things about our systems and stuff and what goes on in the prisons and stuff. They're the ones that have found, like you said, they have minimal libraries, very little books. So they've found religions, whether it be Muslim or like Mike Tyson is a big example of that. He went to jail, he came out a full-blown, very devoted Muslim or Christian. A lot of people do that. And that's the closest thing we have.
Finding your faith,
Yeah, because when you're locked in prison, especially if it's 20 or 30 years or life, you got to find a purpose. You got to
find something.
Otherwise you're going to wind up
in a body bag,
unaliving yourself or getting killed it's tough. I have, growing up in Haverstraw, I have friends that have been in and out of jail, in and out of prison.
Mm-hmm.
You hear stories. My uncle did time. He was a big time criminal back in the 60s and 70s, like robbing houses and things like that. And there's an old
small stuff.
Yeah. He wasn't like a violent criminal. He said that the prison term, it's an old school prison term. It says, "Don't serve time, make time serve you." And I said to him, "Well, what does that mean?" It says, read books, learn, exercise, take do something to occupy your time. Otherwise, you're going to go out in the yard looking for trouble or looking for drugs or whatever. He goes, you have to occupy yourself. Like back in the 70s and the 80s, I mean, guys could go, they had a good education system in our prisons. Guys were coming out with not only GEDs and high school diplomas, they were coming out with bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, but the state deemed that was too expensive. So,
stopped it. I forgot what it is to incarcerate someone. It's like hundreds of thousands a year.
Oh, absolutely.
One person, I think it was.
Yeah, prison is a business. Like healthcare is a business.
College, they're all the same.
Yeah,
it's all the same type of building too.
Like, I think most prison, like statistically, are privately owned. They're not actually state owned or government owned. They're private owned.
Yeah,
which is insane.
It's like a Black Mirror episode. It's like the guy who owns the prison.
Yeah,
it's literally what it is.
That's the one thing I think has been coming out ever since the start of COVID. Just everyone trying to figure out what's going on, whether it be healthcare, whether it be government or whatever. I just think a lot more people nowadays are becoming, like, the tinfoil hat person isn't so uncommon anymore. It's kind of a normalcy to be like, wait, what the hell's going on here? Why are you 5 companies owning everything? Like,
like why does the stem cell one's the biggest? Like why don't we have stem cells?
Yeah.
Well, what a lot of people don't realize is American professional athletes, when they get really hurt, they fly them to Europe to get stem cell treatment, so they can rehab 100% and go back on the courts or back on the field. They don't really do that here, but they do it over there.
You think it's big pharma?
Well, the big pharma it's big business, man. It's
it's not linked, right? That's a different. So I could be wrong, but big pharma is more. Big pharma would be like more of that medicine path, and stem cell would be more of that like curing, more of like that athletic training kind of kinesiology.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's an old saying in the medical profession: there's no money in a cure. There's money in treatment. There's no money in the cure. See, before I worked for the state, I did medical billing. So I worked directly with doctors for years when I got out of college at 22. I was handwriting all the procedure codes and diagnosis codes, obtaining letters of medical necessity to justify surgical procedures. And I worked hands-on, one-on-one with the doctors. So you learn a lot about the healthcare system and how really messed up it is.
Yeah, I talk about it a lot. I mean, I've definitely gotten some shit for saying this in the past, but client and patient, the words, they sound too familiar. You know,
Yeah.
the best patient is the best client, and the best client is the best, or whatever it was. But really, that's the goal of like the system of pretty much, you know, the longer it takes for someone to get healthy, the more we can give them this medication.
Yeah.
Instead of stem cell, where they can get fully cured, you're offering the option of something.
Oh, absolutely. I'm a living example of it.
Right.
After my first stem cell treatment, my diabetes went away. And after my
Wow.
second treatment, my high blood pressure went away. I lost weight, and I became healthy enough to
Holy
be
shit.
put on like 6 different kidney transplant lists.
If you don't mind me asking, was that
Yeah.
type 1 or type 2?
Type 2.
Okay.
Type
and
2.
then what does the stem cell do to reverse that?
Well, the thing about stem cells is stem cells, they work with your body. Stem cells are very smart. They go to they get it infused into your veins with an IV, just a simple IV, and stem cells go to the parts of your body that need it the most. At that particular time,
Crazy. No, keep going, dude. I'm just like amazed. That's fucking-
it goes to your body. And actually, now I should say this about stem cells. Stem cells don't work with everybody.
Okay, interesting.
And they don't understand why. That's why it's not generally accepted. Some people like me are very responsive to it. Some children are very responsive to it. They go from nonverbal to verbal. Yeah.
Blood type?
I don't know if it's blood type. I'm not a scientist. They have their own scientists. You know, it's funny. Swiss Medica has scientists working in like Serbia. They have scientists working in other countries. And currently they're working with neural cells. First it was like... because there's different types of stem cells.
Right.
There's umbilical cord stem cells, which are very, very strong. That's what I had. And then there's something called meniscoccal or menis something or other.
Is that from the spinal cord?
I don't know. They pull stem cells from your stomach. They pull neural cells. They don't go into your brain directly, I don't think, but they pull neural cells. They're always working on something new.
Wild.
Yeah, but the stem cells, they go to your parts of your body that need it the most. Like if you have like high blood pressure, diabetes, Parkinson's, MS, cerebral palsy, you know.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to say, you know, it'll cure your MS, it'll cure your
Right.
cerebral palsy, but it can lessen the symptoms and delay progression of the disease. And what was a friend of mine who used to work for Swiss Medica, Samir, said, it's not a magic pill. It's not like you're going to take it and it's going to cure everything in your body. He goes, it's like if you go to the doctor for a common cold and he prescribes you an antibiotic. Now, there's no 100% guarantee that antibiotic is going to work, but it's your best bet. And odds are it is going to work. You know?
Definitely makes sense. So more so with the stem cells related to the amputee side of things, is there any stem cell related to, I guess, the prosthetics, or is there anything with that, or just
no.
prosthetics are just
stem cells don't regrow your legs, but
Not lizards.
no? So more so, I
be
guess.
nice.
Yeah. I was actually I wanted to get into AT a while ago, and something I really
AT?
had, athletic training.
Okay.
And a big passion I had was for amputees to have companies that are doing the robotic legs, and I wasn't sure if it was using stem cell or what they did. But it's basically the step up from
to read the impulses.
right. So
I understand
to move
that.
the toes and stuff like that.
Yeah, I understand
Is
that.
that more like
It's like electrical stuff.
Yeah,
because
it's more like
connected to your
neuron.
nerves. So it's
Yeah.
like taking the nerves you have left at the wherever you were amputated, and then it's connecting the electric currents they have in that prosthetic.
okay?
And then it's
Yeah,
That makes sense,
I don't
yeah.
use those. I'm more of an old school person. See,
That's like a whole nother thing. That's like surgery
yeah,
and
I'm
stuff.
53 years old. So I don't need robotic legs. I don't need to run a marathon. You know,
Just put some rockets on
I
it.
don't need any of that.
Some Iron
For
Man.
younger people, I can understand that. Yeah, more power to you. Go run that marathon.
Yeah.
You know, go.
It's funny how you get like how you have the access. You're like, yeah, you just I still don't want to do it. It's like, we'll give you legs to make you go 30 miles an hour. You're like, yeah, fuck that.
Yeah.
Like that. I see it all the time though. And like track and stuff, that's a big debate. You see in the Special Olympics, a lot of the track runners actually run fat. They're beating world records basically in the Special Olympics. We're talking about the enhanced games that's coming out. There's like the use of steroids is allowed. Do you think it was? What is that?
I was gonna. You were gonna ask. Were you gonna ask him about that?
Yeah, I was gonna ask him about that.
Then ask this.
Well, I was gonna say more so on the lines of like, how do you feel with athletes competing? With like just the equilibrium of athletes competing with each other, because you know it's a big thing nowadays with like genders cross competing. You have this cross competing. Like,
Well, first we'll do the athletes and then we'll do the cross gender. Well, there was a controversy a couple of years ago about an amputee who was wearing those metal legs, and he was outrunning people with regular legs.
that's what I was saying. Yeah, you broke the record.
Yeah, and I spoke when that was going on. I had spoken to my prosthetist who makes my prosthetics, and I asked him, I said, what do you think about that? He goes, and he says to me, he goes, Joe, that's such an unfair advantage for the amputee because those metal legs are springing him forward. You know, the legs, the prosthetics, the metal prosthetics, they're doing all the work. He's not doing the work. The metal legs are springing him faster and farther. That's why he's breaking the records.
So there's no fatigue, if you don't mind me asking, there's no fatigue because you wouldn't get build up, but do you have more fatigue in your thighs when you walk?
Well, there's fatigue every day.
Right.
There is.
Right.
I mean, I see it as I get older, but I mean, there's always going to be, if you're an amputee, there's always a level of uncomfortableness. There's always going to be a level of pain, fatigue. Like I have 2 prosthetic legs and I can wear them 10, 12 hours a day. But there are most amputees, even with one prosthetic leg, they can't be on that leg all day. But
Interesting, yeah.
I'm 53. I've had prosthetics since I was 2 years old. So I have 51 years experience. I deal with the pain. It's part of who I am. It is what it is. You know?
Since you had them that long, was phantom pain ever a thing for you? I know you said pain, but phantom pain, like when someone gets their leg freshly amputated or freshly off, and then that pain that it's still there, kind of.
Well, I've never experienced that. See, my legs.
Okay, right.
You see, when I was born with legs like you guys, but certain bones were missing in my lower extremities.
Oh, okay.
And the doctor said, well, he's probably going to be in a wheelchair his whole life because he can't walk. And my mother went to like 10 different doctors and said, look, I want him to be like a normal kid, you know. And the one doctor said, well, we can amputate his lower extremities. He fit him for prosthetics, so he'll be able to walk and stuff like that.
Instead of just being in a wheelchair.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And from what I was told, my legs were amputated when I was about a year and a half, and I was wearing the prosthetics at the age of 2.
Wow.
And they said as soon as they put the legs on, I didn't walk, I ran. You know, so
He's charged up. He's ready to go.
yeah.
That's awesome.
So I don't
Holy
feel that phantom
fuck.
pain. And the thing is, I've been asked several times over the years to counsel like veterans who lose a limb in battle and things like that. And I refuse it every time because my disability and their disability are 2 completely different things.
That's what I was referencing. Like they lived a life with legs and then lost it, where you were kind of almost used to it more so.
Yeah, I've never known a life without prosthetics. You know,
Would that make it less traumatic? You'd say?
you know
it's
what?
like a
I don't know
normal,
my
right?
life any other way.
It's your life. That's just
Exactly.
who you are. This is me. That's awesome.
And they, you know, people have said, well, you should be counseling veterans because they come back, they're missing a leg, they're missing an arm. I said, yeah, but I didn't lose anything in battle. I'm not military. I respect the military, but I didn't go through what they went through. So I can't relate to them. So me saying, oh man, I understand what you're going through. No, I don't. I didn't get my leg shot off in a foreign country. That's not fair to them.
That's crazy hearing that from you. Honestly.
Yeah.
No, it's such a true statement. Like you said about your reviews earlier, you just speak the truth. You know, like,
Yeah.
why would I put them through that? Because I know, and when I'm sitting there talking to him, they're definitely thinking, "What the fuck is this guy like?"
Yeah.
Even though you have the amputees, he's gonna be like, "Well,
Like his-
Yeah, you didn't get it shot off in combat.
Yeah.
You didn't step on a
Blown
limb.
off.
Yeah.
I'm not a hypocrite. I'm not going to say, "Oh, I sympathize with you. I understand your." No,
Because that's
I
that
don't.
physical versus mental we were talking about before. That's that
Yeah.
difference of separating, like, because
Yeah.
a lot of people in the world nowadays, I feel like, would do that. They would pull their physical into the mental, and
Yeah,
in your case, they would go help, which is great, but knowing deep down, you really
Yeah.
can't relate.
it's with good
No.
intentions, but it always falls short."
right.
yeah. Well, the thing is, like when my kidneys fail. Now, going back to the stem cell treatment, when I first went there, they said to me, "Joe, we can fix the blood pressure and the diabetes, we can slow progression of the disease, but you're very far along. We can't fix that." They were honest about
for the
that.
kidneys?
Yeah, for the kidneys, because I was at the end stages,
Jesus.
and I had just found out about their treatments, and they said, "Joe, you're at the end stages. We can't fix that. We can delay progression," which they did for like a year, and then boom, my kidneys failed. And I was on dialysis for 3 years and 2 months.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Oh my God.
God
That's
bless.
the worst.
When was
the
this?
worst-
When was this? How long?
This
ago?
was. I just got my kidney transplant 3 years ago, November 5th, 2021, at Tampa General Hospital at Tampa, Florida.
Nice.
But I was on dialysis since September 15th, 2018, until November 5th, 2021. I was on dialysis for 2.5 years here. But the thing is, the stem cell treatment made me so healthy. The only thing that was wrong with me was my kidneys. So I was on kidney transplant lists in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut.
Oh, nice.
Shout out to Yale University Hospital and Hartford Hospital
Shout out.
in Connecticut, because they were such nice people. And a couple of hospitals in New Jersey I can't really remember, and I'm sorry guys, but
It's going through a little tough time.
yeah. So, but
Valid to
the
forget.
thing about me is, it was eating me up inside. It was eating me up inside, and my really close friend Ken, he said to me, he goes, "Joe, you've always been very open and very expressive." He goes, "Maybe you should start, talking to more people or posting about it on social media." So when my kidneys failed, I made a big post on social media on my Facebook page, and I said, "Guys, look, this is a situation," and that took such a burden off of me,
That's awesome.
that I just started posting
Telling
about
your
it.
story. Just-
Yeah, and and I'm gonna be honest. Not all my posts were like happy posts. I mean, I was depressed. I was never suicidal, but I was so depressed. And depression sucks because it's something that just consumes you, and I would just talk about it, and people would say to me, "Well, how do you?" And I finally found a way to deal with my depression. Now my way might be different from other people. I'm not like a licensed therapist or anything, but I've
None
been
of
through
us.
it.
This is the closest we got to being one.
Yeah.
That's what I
You
said. Sitting on
see,
this
the
couch.
thing is, when you're faced with a depression, whether it's minor or major, you can't deny it. You can't push it away. You can't push it down. Your best bet is just to accept it. Accept it, because it's a part of you, and it's always going to be a part of you. But
Right.
it doesn't define you as a person. It is a part of you, but you are so much more than that little bit of depression. And if you don't give it that strength, if you don't give it that power, it's not going to consume you. It'll be there, and you have to accept that it's there. And you're not always going to be, happy and, super friendly, and you're not always going to want to talk to people.
Totally. That's normal.
But you're gonna have to deal with it. And I would just be posting about that on a regular basis. Some of my posts were dark, but some of my posts were hopeful. And a crazy thing happened. Like, I started getting calls from people. They say, "Hey Joe, look, I just got diagnosed with cancer. Can I talk to you?" I said, "Sure, you can talk to me." And another friend, "Hey, I just got diagnosed with this," or "Look, my friend just got diagnosed with this. Can you talk to them?" And I said, "Sure." And it came to the realization that everybody was referring me or calling me or messaging me or referring me to their friends because I'd actually been through it. And these people who I was counseling, they said, "Joe, you're the only person I can talk to, because my friends, my family, they can sympathize, but they have never been through what I've been. They haven't been in that dark place, and you have. So I've actually talked to a lot of people, like low key. I don't really post about it on social media, but I talk to a lot of people about depression and illness.
That's awesome. Good for you. Seriously,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
thanks.
you really need a lot of that now, because I think there's a lot more people out there that are on both ends of it. There's people that are depressed and don't talk about it, and then there's people that have been depressed and don't talk about it. So the two are never going to connect.
Yeah.
And most of the time, it has to come from your end of it. I feel like you have to tell people.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like you've been through it, versus someone who's current. I feel like if you're currently depressed, it's impossible to tell people.
Yeah.
But if you're like, oh, I've been through it, I can help.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
I
so
love that.
just recently, I have a buddy of mine in Florida. Well, he's referred to me by another friend. I won't mention his name, but he was going through a kidney transplant, and he had a huge support system. Wife, family, friends. But the technical stuff, he didn't know about, like, what to prepare for, how to deal with the medications, how to deal with recovery. So he would call me up like every other day. Hey, look, here's my blood work. What should I do? And things like that. I'm like, okay, well, first of all, calm down, because those numbers are going to change. And then I tell him stories about my journey through, through illness and what I went through with my kidney transplant and things like that. Oh,
No, you're good. Take your time.
But so I talk to people all the time, and the funny thing is, sometimes people refer me to other people, so I reach out to them, and then the people who referred me follow up and say, hey, did you talk to so and so? I said, yeah, I did talk to them, but they weren't really interested in talking to me. Oh, no, don't worry about it, Joe, I'll talk to them again. I said, no. I said, sometimes people just need to be left alone. Let them work through it. If they want to reach out to me or to you or somebody else, fine. But you can't keep pushing somebody. It's not an ABC after school special. It's not a Lifetime movie. It's real life.
Oh yeah. How did you? I know you said someone had suggested for you to start talking about it, but a lot of times I feel, from my experience, it's a lot harder to actually listen. Like, you're like, yeah, I'll do that. That's a good idea. And then you go home and you don't do it. What made you actually start talking about it for yourself?
Because it was messing with my subconscious. And it didn't start with the kidney transplant, because if you see right here, I have a big scar on my head from a brain aneurysm I suffered 3 years before the kidney transplant. This is an interesting story. I was riding my motorcycle in Nanuet. I rode a Harley.
Nice.
Yeah, I was a badass. Well, I looked the part.
Yeah.
So I was riding my Harley. I went to a party in Nanuet, and it was like 5 or 6. It was the summertime, and I said, okay, guys, it's getting late, so I'm gonna go. Oh no, stay for a little while longer. So I stayed till like the sun was starting to go down. So I was like, guys, I gotta go. The sun's going down. So I had my helmet, but I didn't have any gear on. So I went around a turn, not very fast, and a skunk ran out in front of me. I locked the brakes. I what they call high-sided on a motorcycle. I went up and over, slammed right into the concrete. Now, I was wearing a helmet, but my ribs fractured. 2 of my ribs fractured.
Fuck.
So I went. Luckily, this was summer, and people were out in their backyards, and because it was a residential neighborhood, people had saw it and jumped. From what they told me, they jumped the fence. And they came over, and apparently the people, not the people at the party I was at, because I was like a block away, the people who saw me hit the ground turned out to be people I knew.
Oh, wow. God.
And I was in a daze because I hit that ground hard. But I heard people saying, Joe, don't worry about it. We called the ambulance. They're coming. Joe, you're going to be okay. And I was like, I think I said, who are you? Joe, don't worry about it. And there was some girl crying or something like that. But I had a helmet. I was just shooken up. So I went to the hospital. I went to Good Sam, right over here in Suffern. It was, at the time, it was like Saturday night. they said, look, we got to run a CT scan to make sure you don't have a concussion. I was like, dude, I was wearing my helmet. I'm just in pain from the ribs. So I said, okay, run the scan. My buddy gave me a ride home. The funny thing is, when I was in the emergency room, and I was in one of the rooms in the emergency room. This is funny because I'm there with my buddy, and in walks this nurse, and she looks at me and goes, Joe, what the hell are you doing here? Turns out the nurse in the ER was a woman I had met at a wedding 2 weeks before, who I was openly flirting with and dancing with. Like, nothing happened, but she was so cool. What happened? And I told her, I'm like, I told her what happened with the accident. And she goes, Joe, whatever you need. I was like, just give me a painkiller, but nothing to get me addicted, So she was real cool, and she was real attentive to me. I wish I could remember her name. She's a beautiful woman. But so they ran a CT scan, sent me home. 4 hours later, they called me up because the radiologist had came in. It was Sunday morning. Mr. Jerez, this is so-and-so from Good Sam. You need to come back to the hospital because the radiologist shows that you have a brain aneurysm in your frontal lobe. I was like, F you. I was jacked up on morphine. What am I going to say? Yeah. So like 3 days later, I went... Yeah, so 3 days later, I went back. I had them run the test, and they said, you have a 4.3 millimeter aneurysm in your frontal lobe. Shit. And I was like, shit, was that the motorcycle accident? They said, no. It was just an accidental discovery because we ran a CT scan. Now, with aneurysms, if it's 3 millimeters, they have to operate. Mine was 4.3 millimeters and was ready to rupture. Now, the thing about aneurysms in your head, depending on where it is in your head, you could suffer a stroke, or you could be one of those people where if the aneurysm ruptures, you just drop dead on the spot. Even if you're in a hospital, there's nothing they can do. I was one of those people that if it ruptured, I would have dropped dead on the spot. So I immediately I went to New York Presbyterian Hospital, and it was great.
It's amazing there.
Yeah, oh my God.
That's where my nana went. It's unreal. It's one of the best hospitals in the world, I think.
In the world.
Yeah.
And I went there. In one day, I was seen by a nurse practitioner, an MD, a neurologist, 2 neurosurgeons in one day.
Wow.
They ran all the tests the next day. They said, okay, Joe, you have a 4.3 millimeter aneurysm in your frontal lobe. We scheduled your surgery for Monday, which was like 5 days later. And she's like, just remain calm until we do the surgery. I'm like, you just confirmed there's something in my head that's going to rupture and kill me, but I gotta be calm.
That would have made me. That probably would have killed me.
I would have ruptured right there.
That would have been it.
Yeah, but in those couple of days, getting back to the depression, it was driving me crazy. It was driving me crazy because I had it all bottled up. And what happened was I was having nightmares, and I was afraid to sleep. Like, it was like the movies. It was like I couldn't sleep because every time I closed my eyes, it was like these dark shadows like coming at me. And it was my subconscious messing with me. I remember one time the final straw was I couldn't keep my eyes open. It was 3 p.m. I closed my eyes and boom, I started crying because like I felt like something was clawing at me, and I was only asleep for an hour and a half. And I called my buddy crying, my best friend Ken, and I said, Ken, and he said, Joe, what's wrong? Calm down. I was telling him about that it was driving me crazy because at the time I wasn't really talking to anybody. He says, Joe, you got to start talking to people. Okay, you can't keep this bottled up because now it's your subconscious. It's fucking with you, and it's driving you crazy. You gotta get it out. You're the type of person you talk. So that's when I started talking about it, and I had my brain surgery. What was that? July 15th, 2015, at New York Presbyterian Hospital. Thanks to Dr. Robert Solomon and his team.
Shout out
at New York Presbyterian. They fixed my aneurysm. And believe it or not, a month later, I went back to work. I was back to working for the state, and I was back to working as an actor.
Jesus, good for you.
Yeah, because I
You gotta
was
stay
working.
busy, man.
Yeah, and then 3 years later, my kidneys shut down, so I couldn't really work anymore. So,
You got quite the resume. Holy fuck.
that was an amazing resume.
God bless, man.
As
I'm
an
still here.
actor, please.
shit.
Before I retired, I was the bad guy. I was a supervisor with the New York State Government Department of Taxation and Finance, Civil Enforcement Division.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, coming for us soon.
Yeah.
I loved my job. I worked with businesses all over the state. I helped them get in compliance, payment plans, things like that. Of course, if you couldn't get them in compliance, you'd have to seize assets. But I loved my job. I know people hated me, but I loved what I did.
That's the biggest thing, honestly.
Yeah.
What you were saying before with the subconscious, I think that's a big one. Do you believe your subconscious becomes your reality? Your subconscious thoughts, really?
It can. It can. That's what drives people crazy. That's what makes people delusional, and you think something is real when it's not real.
Right.
And because your subconscious will manifest things in real time in days while you're wide awake. That's why some people will say, "Oh my God, there's something moving in that corner." There's nothing in that corner. That's your subconscious playing tricks on you.
Right.
That's the thing, is you have to maintain control of that. There has to be a separation, because that's why a lot of people, they are on medication, because they hear voices, they hear this, they see things, they hear voices. That's your subconscious playing tricks on you, and only there's medications that can stifle that. I don't know what the medications are. I just kind of I worked my way through it, but yeah, it's tough. Like you were saying before, you never know what anybody's going through.
No. I think that's the biggest thing, just being positive to yourself, like you're your worst enemy. Not comparing yourself to others. That's a big thing with the company. We see starting this company. I don't know if I told you, but we're full time on this. He's helping us now at the company as well. We got like 5-6 guys.
Oh, cool.
Pretty sick.
Tell me what your company is. I don't even know.
So I was going to say the website, guys. We started about a year ago.
Shout out to the website, guys.
Yes, sir. I like that. His shirt, actually, that's our first brand, Just My. And then nobody knew what the fuck we did. So we were like, we're going to the website, guys. Basically, web design for small businesses, restaurants, any local business.
Right.
We do apps, actually. We just started getting into more of the dispensary space, ironically. So we started our first dispensary project in Manhattan. Shout out them. We're posting that in a couple weeks. But really just we're at the point now where we know exactly where we want to go and why we're here. It's just really scaling and like getting that next level of like, okay, now we're, our first year we did probably, this many sales, and this year we're trying to, X that. This year we're trying to, so whatever we need to do to speed up that process, really just getting the name out there, I feel like is our biggest, like just telling people.
Yeah, being able to advertise, making sure everyone knows, and making sure that there's another option other than Shopify and Wix and other things that again, because there's these companies out there that make you they allow you to create your own website with ease of use, but a lot of people still don't even for me, I'm working with my company in my regular job. I'm doing a website redesign project right now with a different company.
Okay.
And me, with marketing experience, I don't know anything about website stuff and how to build it. And so we had to reach out to another company for them to build something so I can use it easily and make updates and do certain things for my job. We have that where you don't have to do it. We'll just give you what you need. We'll give you a nice website, everything you want customized, and you don't have to worry about building it yourself, making updates yourself and all that stuff. It's all done. It's through that process of us making the website for you or the application for you, we're making sure we're getting everything you want.
So you guys are about building the websites.
Right.
And what about the marketing aspect?
Yeah, so he actually focuses more on like the marketing side of things.
And that's part of the same company or a separate company?
No, it's the same thing,
company.
yeah.
Same company.
So he does, like, have you heard of SEO? SEO consulting, things like that. Basically, him helping you get to, not guaranteeing number one, because that's companies that pay thousands of dollars a year to be there, but saying, oh, hey, you're on 30, page 4 of Google. Let's get you to page 1 or 2. Let's get you up to the top. Let's tell you what you need to do. Step one usually is making a website, making an Instagram, getting Google to trust you.
Yeah.
I'm a real person. So yeah, we actually seen a lot of that now. Most of the websites we've done, like I said, restaurants, detail companies, pet sitting companies. It's anybody really, any business. It's fucking anywhere.
And the things we do, I think, not to to answer your question, I think what you were asking was we're on like Instagram. We do the podcast as another form of that through YouTube and stuff like that. TikTok, Facebook. I think basically everything you could be on is what we're marketing on and stuff like that. And the one big thing I will preference, it's all them too. I help for the podcast, and I've been helping with this since we episode 3. And again, I have a normal 9 to 5. I haven't decided to leave that yet and help them out full time. But I don't know where I was going with this. But yeah, Jerez doing a lot of the marketing stuff and posting a lot of things, making sure that we're reposting. That's the biggest thing we've noticed through stuff, is not really getting the paid per clicks out there and trying to get views for paying for them. It's more of just about having the 5 or 6 guys and maybe some of our friends to just like it, to comment, to repost it, to save the thing. Just those little things that takes you 5 seconds to do all of those things, 5 seconds, makes us get in front of other people that are not in our immediate connection. Because everyone in our immediate connection by this time should know what we do. Everyone in this town should basically know what we do and what we're about. I mean, we went to school with half of the kids. They're in town now, and all their parents know us. So they should know. So it's more about helping us to get out to the rest of the world. And those little things help. I mean, we had one guest on Presto, who's a friend of ours, who's a rapper now. And he just commented back to me today, and all 3 of us have been trying to repost his stuff, and he commented back and he's like, thanks for all the love and I appreciate everything you do, just like that little stuff of reposting, and it goes a long way. And I replied to him back, and it's a thing, if anyone from town listens, I know I'm getting a little emotional about it,
shut up.
But it kind of pisses me off that so many people will post about some random guy getting $700 million to play a fucking game, but they won't repost our shit. They won't repost Presto's like music and stuff. It's like bullshit.
Reposting like things that don't matter versus
it's all about sensationalism or flavor of the moment type stuff.
Yeah, dude, and it's like he said it best. Like you know, we may know you and stuff like that, and I see you every day. But you're not like you won't like my picture, but you won't repost my shit. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, dude, I'm with you every day, and you won't support my vision, and the vision's to help all my friends and stuff at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
And help the community. If we help each other as a community, we grow as a community. And then in time, hopefully, if we all help each other, this community has a bunch of millionaires. That's the goal.
What it is. You all grow with each other.
Yeah.
Well, it's true. I mean, look at Mr. Beast. I respect the hell out of him. I mean, he says like the first time I posted a bunch of videos, nobody saw them. I got 1 like. And
his first 100 videos, I think, said Mr. Beast's first. I don't know if it's true or not. Now they probably have more views because he's famous. But it took him, I think, 124 videos to get more than to get his first video with 100K views. Yeah. And we're sitting here on, this is podcast number 13, I'm pretty sure. 13, so shout out, you're our 13th guest.
All right. Appreciate it. Cool, my birthday is March 13th. So
nice. Mine's March 17th. Look at that.
Right on.
Nice.
St. Patty's Day. Snuck it in. But and I told him it's as easy as next week we could completely stop. We could pack all this up. We could never record a podcast again, never text anyone again, and there goes our whole YouTube channel. Yeah. Versus just, hey, every week let's get a new person on, let's keep it consistent. After 2 years, there's 600 episodes. There's then there's the sponsorships, there's the things like that. Right. This started the podcast more so. Our goal of it originally was, I'll make you a website, we'll get you on the podcast, we're going to promote your business, promote our business, help each other out, talk about what you did for us, what I did for you, maybe the detail, maybe you detailed my car, we did your website, a little trade,
Sure.
whatever it may be. But now it's awesome, like seeing what you post. I had a huge passion for stem cell, but now I know about Swiss Medica. And
Yeah.
then I look at them and I'm like, hey, look at their website. This is something we've worked with before. I may not get a response from Swiss Medica though, but now it's like Joe, Matt, and it's not what I know or what I'm saying or anything like that. It's just who you know.
Well, you can contact Swiss Medica. Tell them you spoke to me. Maybe they'll do an interview. They love promotion. Tell
Shout 'em
them
out.
you spoke to Joe Jerez and
Send them a
you're
little
a friend of
clip from
mine.
the pod too. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
That means a lot.
Nice.
Seriously.
Yeah, no problem.
That means a lot. It's really neat seeing all the different kinds of companies too with the websites. It's nice because you get to really see like, holy shit, there's all these different kinds of businesses, all these different kinds of people we talk to. It's not just restaurant owners. It's not just wealthy people. It's, we're talking to yacht brokers, and we're talking to the lady in Haverstraws with the taco stand. And it's just best of both worlds. I love it.
Yeah.
It's honestly
Well, everybody's got a great story in them.
right.
You just got to bring it out. And, big shout out to you and all the people that they chase their dreams and they have that regular 9 to 5, because I did the same thing. I worked for the state. I worked out of Brooklyn down in Metro Tech. I worked from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. working my state job, and then I would drive into Manhattan. I would work on a movie set. I'd work TV show. I'd work that till midnight or 1 or 2 in the morning, and then drive back to Brooklyn, sleep in my car, and go back to work.
That's how it is, man.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
awesome.
there's nothing wrong with being grounded and chasing your dreams.
I think that's something I definitely knocked myself for at first. Like, we were both working full-time jobs. We cut the cord. We're doing this full-time. And it's like, now I need to be this business owner, entrepreneur, full-time. This is my new identity, more so.
Right.
And then you realize you catch yourself in that whirlwind of, now I'm not hustling. Now it's like, there's the balance, like you said, like, don't burn yourself out.
Yeah.
So if I'm doing this, 80 hours a week, am I actually producing versus, doing that 20 hours a week to do a bullshit job just to make money, and then actually producing those 60 or 70 hours.
Yeah. Well, the
that's
key
big.
is don't keep yourself in a bubble. Don't be afraid to try different things and expand, and don't just be about websites and marketing. Try different things.
Right.
Try and try and fail. Try and succeed. I mean, there's so much out there, and don't be afraid to ask people. Don't be afraid to try things. Okay, so you fail. You move on to the next thing. You ask somebody. The worst they can say is no. Okay, it's no or it's yes. That's been my philosophy with women ever since I was a teenager. The worst they can say is no.
Yeah.
Sometimes
true.
they say yes.
There you go.
The same goes with business. The same goes with people. And,
Right. In sales, that's something I teach my one friend Mike. We actually grew up on Riverside together.
Right.
Forenza.
Oh, Mike Forenza. I know
Big
Mike
Mike.
Forenza. Yeah, I know Mike Forenza.
Well, you guys call him Little Mike. We call him Big Mike.
I didn't say little Mike. I didn't say little.
Fair.
I didn't say that at all.
He said Mike.
Oh shoot, that's right. We're on camera. Sorry, Mike. I'm sorry. He's not
He's
watching.
pissed. He's pissed.
Hey, how many followers do you guys have?
What?
We're up
50 something?
to
Oh, subscribers. I'm thinking.
subscribers. We're up to, what is it?
The whole podcast gets like 100, a little over 100 views usually.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Over
it gets
100.
Somewhere between 1 and 3,000 views usually.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat seeing that too.
Yeah, we're doing well with that.
What do we have to,
growing.
Jared, for time?
Then just got to send a text.
Yeah, no,
real
you're
quick.
good.
What are we looking for time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't know how long this thing lasts
it.
for.
As long
It's pretty
as
good if you guys want to.
we would like. Usually we try to do up to an hour, and if we go past that, we go past it. But
Okay.
we're having a good conversation. I don't know if you have things to do. But
Well, a friend of mine wants to meet for a late dinner,
yeah,
so I'll
that's
meet him
fine.
at 8:30 in Mawa. So you guys got me for another 20 minutes.
That's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Thank you, man. What are you guys
perfect.
getting tonight?
I have no idea. I'm only in town for a couple of days. This was my one free night, and I posted as soon as I landed in Newark Airport, and I said, guys, look, anybody wants to get together tonight, let me know. But I have tentative plans with friends on Friday night, and all day Saturday I'm meeting with like 3 or 4 different groups of people. Like I'm meeting my former coworkers
that's
in the
nice.
Bronx at a real nice Italian restaurant called Fratelli's. Shout out to Fratelli's.
Yeah.
We'll do your website.
In the Bronx. And after that, I'm meeting up with another friend of mine in Rockland to pay our respects to our friend that passed away.
God bless.
And then after that, I'm meeting with some other friends in New Jersey who I always come see when I'm in town. And then after that, I'm meeting. This is Saturday, but that's Saturday, and then I'm meeting with another lady friend of mine, just a friend, and we're gonna hang out
for the podcast.
Yeah, just a friend.
No, she really is. She's a great girl, though.
Yeah.
And then I'm meeting some other friends like later at the bar at like Fitzpatrick's or something like that in Congress. But that's Saturday. I think tomorrow I'm going to the casino in the morning.
Good luck.
Nice.
Thanks.
Which one?
Resorts World in the Catskills.
Oh yeah, that's good.
An hour away. If you guys are ever bored,
Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. We actually lived
It's
in
bad.
Boston. We were fucking 5 minutes from Encore.
Okay.
Our apartment was right there, and everything in Boston closes at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
So every night we're looking at each other like, what do we fucking do? There's nothing.
You just see a fucking building right there. Just a
glowing.
big ass.
Like, this is horrible.
Well, if you can control yourself with the gambling, I mean, they comp
Right.
rooms all the time. I gamble there once a year. They send me free rooms every week.
it's crazy.
Oh yeah, Resorts World Casino in the Catskills, they're awesome. They,
Yeah, my parents go a bunch of times.
yeah, they do some shows too. They're okay. I mean, it's good to go up for like a couple of hours. If they give you a free room, definitely go check it out. Some restaurants, things like that.
Free drinks too. I didn't know you get free drinks at some of the casinos.
You do get free drinks at a
You
casino.
gotta play though.
Oh yeah,
But, you know,
money first.
The thing about casinos is these ladies live on tips, right? So you know when a server comes to you, whether you're on a table or you're on a machine, the first thing you should ask her is say, hey, you know, are you just starting or are you leaving? And she said, oh no, I'm just starting. You know, what you do is throw her $20 and say, look, whatever your drink of choice is, say it's rum and coke. He says, here's $20. Keep the rum and cokes coming, and then I'll take care of you when we're done, when I'm good and toasted. Tipping in advance is the best way to get the best service.
Yes.
Every time I go to a wedding, which hasn't been for years, the first thing I do when I go to the reception, I go right to the bar, talk to the bartender. Hey, how you doing? My name's Joe. Here. First person there, I threw $20 in the tip jar. I said, I don't care if there's 4 or 5 people deep surrounding this bar. You take care of me, okay? And I'll take care of you.
That's easy.
And
I like
you're
that.
the best service. They actually will look over other people because they know you took care of them right off the bat. You're not throwing $1 in the tip jar for a drink. You got to throw the guy $20, you know, as a sign of respect. So that's pretty good.
I think every single person before they get into the workplace should work a gratitude job. I've always said that. I think like it teaches a lot about things. It teaches a lot about people, psychology, just behavior about yourself, how to react to things. But I've worked valet, and like I said, people hand you $100 to drive their car 10 feet, and then people don't give you money to go pick up their car a mile away. And it's your ability to learn from it, react to it. But now tipping people in the future, I'm like you said, 20s. It's just that's how I'm the same way. It's like,
but it's an interesting thing because like when you travel, do you do the same thing?
No, tipping is not a big thing in other countries. So actually, in some countries, I think it's Japan, they would actually consider it an insult.
Yeah. Well, they do it a little different. Their way around it is they give you like a cup of like that big, a cup of like a little food, and it's like a table charge. So that's their tip of giving you an appetizer, but it's like barely anything. It's like one.
Because when I first started traveling overseas and I try to throw somebody $1 or $2, they look at it, they're like,
no,
cool. And I later I found out that they're actually insulted by it, you know, so don't tip them. But
what's the best place you ever been?
Well, best is arbitrary. I've been all over the world.
Revisit, like, what's the number one like revisit spot where you wake up like, oh, I could definitely see myself.
Well, first of all, I'll tell you the countries I have been to. I've been to England, France, Spain, Germany, Switzerland, Hungary, Bulgaria, Romania, Italy, Greece, Turkey, Egypt, Liechtenstein, Belgium, Austria, Holland, Monaco, Vatican City, Serbia, Croatia, Slovenia, Australia, all the islands in the Caribbean, Russia,
like that cartoon.
I have been.
Tell us which ones you didn't go to.
It sounds like the
Yeah.
what is that cartoon? The Anagram cartoon where he lists off all the countries in the.
He actually just got back from Japan. How far was that? It was a couple months ago, right?
It was in the summer. I went in August. Me and my friends, a couple of my other friends, went to Japan for a couple weeks.
Japan is interesting. I don't think I would have a desire to go there, but I will. Getting back, I've been there once. I had a layover in Tokyo one time. I mean, it's very expensive. You gotta the best way to travel, and I'll get back to your question in a minute about the best country.
Oh, please.
The best way to travel before you travel internationally, and I've been an international traveler for over 25 years. Before you go anywhere out of this country, do your research about that country. Say you're going to Italy. Where to go, where not to go, what are the rules, what are the regulations, what are the local scams. Look up the local scams. But as a New Yorker, you have a natural paranoia about people. If somebody's too close to you, you know it.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, New York's actually like the worst one of all of them. So going anywhere else, it's like
exactly.
It's not that bad.
Now, you do exactly what I do. When I yawn, I start to tear up.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm just crying. I didn't tell you.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. The cat was sympathetic. I wasn't. But no. So best countries. It depends what you're into. But I've always said Italy, Greece, and Egypt, and I'll tell you why. Italy had some of the best food in the world, next to France. Everything was handmade. I mean, their restaurants. They start preparing food and the pasta 2 hours before the restaurant even opens.
Carbonara was insane. I was rolling on the cobblestone after.
Greece, great party spot. But I would not recommend Athens because Athens is just like New York City.
Oh, really?
The whole trip, I just went back to Europe. Athens was our last night. Yeah, the whole trip. Went to Amalfi, went to all these places.
Yeah, if you go to Greece, do the islands. You got to do the islands.
We ended on Athens. The hotel had pubic hair on the bed. It was fucking disgusting. It was like the worst. And I thought Athens was, Athens. I learned in my history.
Yeah,
not spray paint and everywhere, and it's like it's a shithole.
Yeah, it's horrible.
It's horrible.
You're better off going on the islands. Like Mykonos can be crowded. Lesbos.
That's where we went. We used our points for that one. Mykonos was.
Yeah, Corfu is a beautiful island, great island to party on. A lot of English people go there, but Italy, Greece, and my favorite country, it has always been Egypt because
so sick.
I have always been a fan of Egyptian mythology and the pyramid, not just how they built the pyramids, but everything going on. And I've always been a fan. And ever since I was a kid, I said I'm going to go to Egypt, and I had the opportunity. So I went with a tour group. It was part of a European tour. Actually, this is a good tour for younger people. It's an Australian-based tour company called Kontiki. Contiki. Kontiki.com. They specialize in tours for people 18 to 35.
Oh, okay,
I'm assuming you guys are under 35.
Yeah.
Not my hairline.
Don't worry about it. I don't care. Kontiki is a great Australian-based tour company, and I went on something called the Ultimate European. 18 countries, 3 months in Europe, including Egypt, and it was great. You're on that tour. If you're a young person, man or woman, everybody's single on that tour or single for the tour. So, I mean, it's a really good place to hook up if you're a younger guy. Not for me, but if you're under 35 and you're single, it's a great experience. And it's inexpensive. They include everything, the hotels, all the transfers and everything like that, the attractions.
That's amazing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but Egypt was great. I mean, it was just when you're you hear about the Nile River, but then when you go swimming in the Nile, it's an amazing experience.
Yeah. That was like the Dead Sea in Israel when I went in that.
Really?
Holy shit, that was once in a lifetime. Your every cut on your body, every little cut burns. People, if you peed in the water, it burned real bad. People were screaming, but you float. Like I could throw you in the water, and you just come right back up. That's pretty sick.
It's all salt.
But yeah, I think that was I think that was a good pod, honestly. That was
Yeah, very good.
Episode 13, right?
Yeah, episode 13.
Episode 13. Shout out. You want to do any shout outs for any pages or anything like that? You could shout them out.
I'm 53 years old, so shouting out is really not my thing. I mean, I gave credit to the people I can remember right now. I'm sure when the podcast is over, I'll remember 1,000 people. But guys, I want to thank you for putting me on here. Are we still recording?
Yeah.
So I want to thank you guys for putting me on there, and I really wish you guys the best success.
Appreciate that.
You know, I mean, you guys look like you're on the right path, and you're doing really well. And keep up the good work. And you know, don't be afraid to try. Don't be afraid to think outside the box.
Oh, definitely.
Because those are the innovators. Those are the people who become successful. Don't be so quick to follow everybody else's model. It worked for them, but now everybody's doing it.
Right.
Do your own path. Like there was the one internet sensation who I respect. First of all, I respect those young teenagers. They find a niche and they make millions of dollars. I respect the hell out of
Genius.
them.
Oh, yeah.
Because they did something that nobody else was doing. Like that everybody knows the Cash Me Outside girl.
Oh, yeah.
She took a TV show that was she was specifically put on that show to be made fun of. She took it and turned it into a multi-million-dollar empire.
That's it.
Yep.
Or the memes that turn into $1 million.
Yeah,
things.
well, she does. If you look her up, she does product endorsements with jewelry, clothing, has her own line of cosmetics. Like, she's smart. She was 17 years old. She had millions of endorsements.
Branding yourself seems like the biggest thing. Like, really fucking.
Look at Ray Gunn from the Olympics, the breakdancer from Australia, which was the most ridiculous performance ever. Now she has her own brand and she's making a fortune.
Because everyone made fun of her.
Well,
like,
yeah. So, well, you know what?
But using the publicity, like all publicity is good publicity.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you got 100 million people laughing at your video. You're going to find some sponsors for the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually a crazy way to look at
but
that.
But be very careful with the sponsors because that Hawk Tua girl just got caught with a Bitcoin, with a cryptocurrency scam.
She pulled it. Yeah. Rug pull.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's another thing is, Jesus, sorry. Sorry, it's my phone. Be very careful. I mean, when you're successful, a lot of things will be thrown at you at once. Don't be so quick to sign on the dotted line for everything. Because even I, as an actor, have turned down movie and TV roles if something didn't look right in the contract. Because I don't have an agent, I represent myself.
Right.
But yeah, that's the thing is, when fame and success come at you, it's overwhelming to a lot of people. So, and they don't take the time to educate themselves. And that's what happened to a lot of music artists and a lot of actors were caught in situations where they had no choice. They made zero money. So anybody out there should, definitely think twice. Just because somebody puts a check in front of you doesn't mean you got to take it.
No. Right. That's the biggest thing. You have morals at the end of the day. You're a company, we're a business. And people have started this company, they're saying like, oh, we can, help you guys out, scale your company. We're going to take, 30%, 40%. We're like, we do 20% for all sales. So if any of our sales guys get a commission, basically you get a sale, it's $1,000 website, here's 20%, boom. It's $10,000 website, here's 20%, boom. It's whatever it is. People find us jobs, we just split that. So it's like, if you find us jobs, I'll be like, yeah, you find me a job, I'll do all the work talking to them. You got me the job. It closes. I'll give you 10%. Yeah. And you're doing nothing but just feeding me a job. Yeah. And that's what we try to explain to people, right? Like, explain to people like what you put in is what you get. Really, like, it's not like
be very careful who you partner with.
Right. Exactly.
That's no. You partner with us. We'll just take a piece of what you make. It's ridiculous. Do it on your own.
And nothing's word of mouth anymore. Like we have people we are friends with, and we're like, hey, like we'll do this for you. You do this for us. It's like it doesn't need to be money. It's like kind of like we'll make you a website. You take pictures for us or do something for us like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But thank you again, man. Seriously, appreciate hearing your story more. I remember the events we went to, the chiller events.
Chiller was fun. Yeah, I missed
sick
that.
Shit, dude. He just took me to the chiller events, the Comic-Cons and stuff like that. Yeah, dude.
Oh, hell yeah.
That was awesome. That was my first intro into the whole like Ronnie. He has all the characters.
Godzilla. He's a big Godzilla fan.
And stuff, dude.
Oh, Godzilla. I love Godzilla. Godzilla's my favorite.
Shit, dude.
Yeah.
That's why I went to Japan, because I like all their culture and their movies, and I watch anime. That's like, I don't watch shows or movies. I watch anime. If I'm gonna watch something, it's YouTube or anime. Like I don't. So like
I just got into it.
I love that shit.
Shout out again. Thank you again, man.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Very good.
Thank you.
I know that it can't rain forever. Need a change of weather. I stuff some Zion inside the paint, make the pain feel better. And I ain't never